Trading is one of the most ancient professions of the human race, predating even the existence of currency in the form of barter. It is also a profession with a deceptively simple rule: buy low, sell high. To be successful is the only thing that really counts. On Earth, trade began connecting the distant continents as faster and more elaborate sailing ships took to the oceans. The mechanics of trade grew more complex, but at the heart of it, the cardinal rule, buy low, sell high, always remained. As human civilization broke free of the Earth and spread across the galaxy, so did the need for trade. The miners on a barren rock needed food, and the farmers on the lush agricultural planets needed machinery and raw materials. Just as the ancient wind-powered T-clippers once crossed the oceans on Earth, hyperdrive-equipped ships began to cross the vast interstellar distances in the hopes of buying low and selling high. Space trucking. Any pilot who spent more than a minimal amount of time around regular traders will have heard the term space trucking, with the die-hard traders often referring to their ship as a truck and themselves as truckers. Historians will tell you that the word truck refers to large surface vehicles used to move goods in the late industrial age on Earth. They were ungainly box-shaped vehicles, optimized to move large quantities of goods and little else. They reached their pinnacle with the Australian land trains, some of which could carry a similar tonnage to a Lakon Type 6, measuring over 50 meters in length. Truckers in that time would generally not be the people performing the trades, but would rather take contracts to move goods for other people or companies. The modern space trucker, however, has far better access to the open goods market and can decide on their own loads. As such, they have more in common with the independent merchants of Earth's great naval age. This makes trading highly accessible to the new pilot, requiring little more than a ship, cargo racks, and enough credits to buy some basic commodities. The commodities market. For the new pilot, it's difficult to beat the simplicity of trading on the open commodities market. You don't need to have reputation with any faction to do it, and you don't need a specific kind of ship. As long as there's a commodities market where you are, you can get started right away. The drawback of commodity market trading for the new pilot is that it often simply doesn't make much money. And, especially for the neophyte, it's quite easy to end up buying high and selling low, which will soon lead to financial disaster. But avoid that pitfall, and it's a start to a career that's easy to pick up, and also a way to get yourself positive reputation at a station. What a commodity market trader has to do is simple. Find a station with a commodities market that has a high supply of certain goods at a low price, and a destination also with a commodities market that has a high demand for those goods. Ideally, the trader will want to make a route of stations so their ship's cargo racks never go empty. These routes are usually described as follows. The ABA route, a route that allows the trader to buy a high supply commodity at station A, sell it at station B, then buy a high supply commodity at station B and sell it back at A. The ABCA route, similar to the ABA route, but with another waypoint where a profitable sell and a low-cost buy can be made on the commodities market. It's sometimes known as a triangular route due to having 3 different waypoints. More elaborate routes are possible as waypoints are added, expanding on the idea of the ABCA route. This kind of route was epitomized by the East India Company's Galactic Silk Road in 3301, which had 17 waypoints, with a round-trip distance of over 200 light-years. Unfortunately, the route was short-lived as the shifting sands of supply and demand, increases in piracy, and political interference caused part of it to become unprofitable. For the trader who wants to try their hand with open market trading, it's recommended to trade the more valuable commodities, as these tend to have the best absolute profit margins. High-value metals and imperial slaves tend to top the list, although trading the latter may have a moral dimension that some traders dislike. The trader should also watch out for systems that have a pressing need for certain goods. Take a system subject to outbreak of disease. This usually results in a very lucrative market for basic medicines, which are easily sourced from high-tech or industrial economies. Unusual conditions can arise for all sorts of commodities. For instance, a big efficiency gain in bulk production of polymers in the 76 Sigma Ceti system and strong competition between corporations resulted in a buy price so low that, for a time, a trader could make a record-breaking 8,000 credit per ton profit by shipping from Shah Orbital to surrounding star systems. Commodity market traders should not rely on the galaxy map in their ship's astrogation suite. The standard suite has very limited capabilities. While it can tell you where basic trade flows currently are and give you information on economy types, the information is very rudimentary. A successful trader is far better off consulting one of the privately owned trade guides that are just one Galnet search away. The EDDB has one such guide, as does Inara. These guides in particular can advise you on commodity prices and are updated in near real time and are today considered an essential tool for a profitable career in the business. Rarities and oddities. A variation on open market trading, and one pretty much guaranteed to turn a good profit, is the trade in rare goods. A number of items are unique to certain spaceports and are typically sold in small numbers to open market traders, and when sold far from their sources, will always fetch a good profit. In 3301, there was a boom in the trade of rare goods, particularly from the worlds around Lave, where there is a cluster of half a dozen systems producing unique items. Even with limited supply, a pilot in a Cobra Mark III could fill their hold, travel some distance, and sell at a very respectable profit, far exceeding the profits available for other open market trade goods, despite the distance involved. At the time, it was by far the most profitable thing that a pilot could do in a small ship like the Cobra, and the trade turned into a gold rush, prompting the Lave cluster to be nicknamed the New Caribbean, after an area of Earth which was renowned for the trade in rare and exotic items in the days of sailing ships. While the boom has ended, it's still recommended that the new trader explore the rarest trade. With the high per ton profits and the capabilities of the modern frameshift drive, you can still make good money without needing a huge ship. You don't need to do anything special to trade in these goods. These are traded like any other commodity and can be purchased in the commodity market at the station where they are available. Rares are always in high demand at distant stations. While you can make money faster by contract trading, the beauty of trading rare goods is that they are very profitable, and you do not need to curry favor with the supplying faction, so you can get started right away. It's also a good way to take a tour around the bubble, and if you're looking for a station to call home, selling a hold full of rares will make you popular with the station's owners. Having the favor of your home faction is something that will be very useful when you start contract trading. But beware, not all rare goods are legal galaxy-wide. The Federation even went to war against Kappa Fornacis in early 3301 in an attempt to suppress the trade in one of the items on offer, the narcotic onion head. The contract market. If the inhabitants of star systems relied purely on open market traders, they would probably find themselves short on supply of many items. For low-value items, the profit per ton for a market trader is very poor. Consider basic necessities such as food products. An agricultural world may sell fruit and vegetables at 322 credits per ton, and an industrial station may pay 895 credits per ton. While this is clearly profitable, there will always be something far more profitable to be hauled instead. For this reason, factions in any given station will usually put out orders for goods that are in demand. The trader can pick these up from the faction's mission board, and often there's a range of goods orders that can be taken. They may range from small orders that can be completed by a small ship in a single trip, to very large orders for several thousand tons needing many trips by many ships. They can be in either direction, in other words, a request to supply certain in-demand items to the faction, or a delivery order to another station. They can be more profitable, and like commodity market trading, they will result in the pilot in gaining a good reputation with the trading factions that are offering and are in receipt of the goods. The Pilots Federation recognizes these contracts too, so you will also gain trade rating when taking these jobs. Occasionally, a faction may have a very large project in hand and may advertise this to the Pilots Federation. The Pilots Federation will in turn advertise this as a community goal, and many of these require the supply of a very large quantity of goods. The required goods will usually be in high demand and attract high levels of profit. And added to this, there will be a contribution-based bonus for the participating pilots should the goal succeed. Partaking in community goals is one of the best ways to make money through trading, though participants should be aware of the increased risk of piracy associated with a high-profile initiative. Piracy. No introduction to the art of trading would be complete without discussing piracy. A new trader may start their career thinking nobody could possibly want their goods, but they would be wrong. You could be carrying a cargo of bio-waste and someone will want to take it off you. The motives for piracy vary. Victims tend to lump them all into one category as violence junkies. After all, why would anyone want their 600 tons of nearly worthless bio-waste being delivered under contract? Detailed reasons vary, from other factions wanting to disrupt the competitor to the lawless and stolen ships needing to finance repairs. It does mean you need at least some basic defenses, at least enough to escape an attack and jump into hyperspace. The community goals mentioned earlier are often particular targets for piracy. For example, the recent call by the Imperial Navy for the supply of goods in the Sersur system had profits on the order of 6,000 credits per ton. But for the pirate liberating these goods from a passing trader, who of course hasn't had to pay for the goods in the first place, the pirate would be expecting 25,000 credits per ton. This attracted the more well-heeled pirates, who especially preyed on weakly equipped trade ships. This particular trade mission also brought out the opponents of the Empire who, instead of simply menacing traders to drop some cargo, attacked and destroyed as many trade ships as possible. Those foolhardy traders who chose to fly without a shield in order to fit in just a few more tons were a particularly attractive target, and soon regretted this choice. When you are trading, especially on a high-profit trade route or a trade mission for a particular faction that may be opposed, you'll need to be on alert. Should you be interdicted, you will need to quickly assess whether you're being interdicted by a pirate who will just ask for some of your cargo, or by someone who simply wants to disrupt the trade route by destroying your ship. Pirates tend to make their demands quite quickly. They tend to fly a powerful ship that can carry a good amount of cargo, for example a Python, Imperial Clipper, or Cutter. Those who want to simply destroy you are more likely to be in a well-armed combat ship, such as a Fer de Lance. It may be your best choice to simply comply with the pirate's demand in the first case, but in the second case, you need to run. These tactics are outside the scope of this article, but there are best practice video guides available which are worth watching. In conclusion, trading is a straightforward way to make a living in the galaxy, as well as gain friends amongst the factions that run stations and outposts. But that does not mean you can do it without thought or without shields. However complex you want to make it, just remember there's only one thing you're ultimately trying to achieve. Buy low, sell high. Here are some examples of goods to trade. Basic medicines. Basic medicines are usually not a particularly profitable item until a star system declares a medical emergency. Profits greater than 5,000 credits per ton can be made by shipping basic medicines from an industrial economy to a system in outbreak. Basic medicines are also cheap to buy, making this an excellent way to trade for the new pilot. And just think of all those lives you'll save, while making an enormous profit. Rare goods. Example, Lavian brandy, onion head, Aaron and pearl whiskey, leathery eggs, Listian evil juice. Try to trade these items at least 150 light years from where you bought them for best results. You're guaranteed a profit on the order of 15,000 credits per ton. High value metals. Example, palladium or platinum. High value metals often make great hold fillers to use up any space left over while contract trading, as they are widely available and are in demand in many systems. A profit between 2,000 and 5,000 credits per ton can be made. These items do tend to attract piracy due to their high intrinsic value. Polymers. Unexciting but highly profitable. Recent advances in polymer production and high levels of competition keep the price to buy low, but very high demand in consuming systems makes for an excellent sell price. Record-breaking profits of more than 8,000 credits per ton have been reported, somewhat of a unicorn of a commodity by being both very low risk to transport and highly profitable at the same time. Imperial slaves. Some pilots will find this trade morally dubious, and some star systems ban it. The Empire also looks dimly on the supply of Imperial slaves to anywhere outside of the Empire. However, for the more morally flexible commander, profits of more than 6,000 credits per ton were found during the Imperial supply appeal in Surser. Certain foods. While most bulk raw foods are not particularly profitable, some of the harder to get items will command a good profit. As an example, a good trade route for fish or fruit and vegetables can net over 4,000 credits per ton. Military items. At times, weapons and other military items can yield good trading profits. Recently, one trader reported a profit of over 6,000 credits per ton while shipping military fabrics. Battle weapons can also make a good profit, but beware, the trade in weapons is illegal in many systems.